What if I told you that the biggest trap you can fall into in this world is the trap of identity? Yeah, you've heard me. Not the trap of being stuck in your life, not the trap of religion or the political system, but the trap of identity. If you want to know what I'm talking about, I invite you to stay till the very end of the video. Also, I invite you to stay with me on my channel, because this is the house of light and darkness. Guys, if you will stay here, this is a place for you and me, for both of us, to explore our human but in the same time divine nature, because we are both. We are humans and we are divine beings. And also this is a place where we are trying to look deep within ourselves to finally find the truth about who we really are and how can we transform our life. Okay, and now let's talk about this biggest trap of this 3D world. So in each of my videos, I always mention that there are two realities that we live in. Of course, there is this clear and recognizable reality of this 3D world, so our material and physical reality that we live in. But in the same time, we live in a spiritual reality, okay? There is a spiritual reality that we cannot, unfortunately, we cannot see, we cannot touch, we cannot smell, but we can feel, we can sense, yeah? Because our intuition is something that connects us with this spiritual reality. I mean, it connects our higher self with the spiritual reality that we cannot see. And as I said in my last video on this channel, where I talked about the duality of this world, our physical world, our physical reality, and then the spiritual realm and the spiritual reality that we live in the same time, are both another great example of duality of this world. If you want to know more about duality and why I think that this is the most important rule that this world is built on, you can watch my previous video. So yeah, these two realities, they coexist, okay? They complete each other and they should be in perfect balance. That's also why I believe that people who only live in their material world, in their physical reality, and people who deny the existence of something more, people who are denying the fact that we are spiritual beings in the same time, people who deny anything that is not of this 3D world, they miss something. I mean, there is a lack of something in their life. But in the same time, you probably know that there are people who always have their head in clouds, people who always, prefer to focus only on their spiritual reality, this spiritual people, spiritual community, but not the healthy one, okay? People who go so deep into their spiritual world that they forget that you should also exist in our physical reality. You cannot deny that you are a human being and you need to live your life here right now. So yeah, my friends, the perfect formula is to combine these two worlds and remember, like every day, remember that you have two realities that coexist in the same lifetime. Both are real and one cannot exist without the other. Okay, and now since there are two realities, there are two worlds that exist in the same time, it means, guys, that you have two identities. Now let's talk about the identity. So I'm not going to go to the internet and search the definition of what is identity, but let me just share with you my thoughts. For me, identity is the way other people know you, they perceive you, they identify you, like the version of you they know that is familiar to them, and that's how other people recognize you. For example, let's say your name is George, and like your family know you as George, the guy who is very clever and smart. For example, you are into science, you have your master's degree in some scientific field, and now you are working somewhere in some, I don't know, like company, corporation. On weekends, you like to hang out with your friends playing, for example, board games or somewhere in bar. You like animals, you like to play chess because you have an analytical mind. You like to dress up in a very modest way. For example, I don't know, maybe you like gray or just like beige or I don't know, like brown colors. So that's the version of you that people know. And when someone will say your name and your surname, your last name, in the very same moment, people will think about this version of you that I've just described. That's your earthy identity. Your name, your last name, the place where you were born, the country where you live in. This is all part of your 3D identity, okay? I know there are people, for example, on YouTube, on maybe other social platforms, that like to categorize your earthy identity as like as a trap of this 3D world, but I mean, you know, when they say that this world is a prison and that your name, your last name, like the place where you were born, your family, this is all like invisible chains that keep you in this prison. But my point of view is not that radical. Although, yeah, I believe that in some way our Earth, our planet can look like a prison. It's not the prison. It's the very funny place actually to be in, and I love our world even though it's like limited in some way. So for me, our earthly identity is an essential part of our human existence. It's something you cannot really exist without, because you know, people need to know you in this physical reality. People need a way to describe you or to recognize you among 8 billion other people, right? These are like your characteristic traits or labels, even if I don't like this word, that help others to recognize you, okay? To identify you with something. Not because they like to put you in a box like, oh, you are George, you have this kind of family, you live in this country, and you only dress like this, and you only like science, but because you need to be someone to exist in this 3D world. You cannot be no one without the name and the last name, without the origin, without the family. That's not really possible, right, on this planet. But my friends, the trap that I mean when I say that the trap of identity is the biggest trap you can fall into in your life, in this world, is not the fact that you have your earthly identity, but the fact that there are so many people who forget that they also have their spiritual identity. The trap is not your earthly identity itself, but the situation when you believe that the only identity you have is your earthly identity. This is a trap. This is the easiest way for dark forces in this world who have their interest in keeping people small, in keeping people stuck, and only, you know, in making people believe that they are only humans, like weak and just like ordinary, powerless. It's the easiest way for them to manipulate you. Because again, when you don't realize that you have your spiritual identity, or for example, even if you know of your divine origin and you believe in the existence of spiritual reality, of the spiritual realm, in your daily life, you don't combine these two identities with each other. You don't use both of them. You only live using your earthly identity. My friends, trust me, why it's the biggest trap? Because this is what makes you powerless. This is what makes your life hard. This is what makes your life to be like unpleasant and I don't know, like terrible and boring. Believe me, when in your daily life you remember that you have two identities and you combine them together and you use both of them, that's when life become very interesting. That's when life become like a game, like a scene, like in theater, or I don't know, like a playground. This is when you realize that you hold the power over your reality. Because when you use your spiritual identity to create your reality, then the reality you create is not just physical reality, is the combination of two realities, the physical one and the spiritual one. That's the reality that you can create when you use both of your identities. And again, trust me, my friends, this reality feels like your private fairy tale or paradise, like the heaven on earth, because you live in physical reality, which is limited, but then you use your spiritual, superpowers, you use your spiritual abilities to make your life feel like an endless game. It helps you to feel like you are limitless, even though you live in a limited world. I don't know if you understand what I'm talking about, but I'm trying to do my best to explain it. So, guys, if you want to start creating your reality from the place of combination of these two opposite things, like your physical identity and your spiritual identity, your human nature and your divine nature, you need to know what is your spiritual identity. And that's my favorite part. Okay, now I'm gonna say something that probably many of you will take as very weird approach to the spiritual reality, but that's how I see our spiritual, our divine identity. In this world, there are millions of people who believe in God, okay, or in gods, or just in some kind of divine force, right? Like the universe, the divine source. But even if you are not a believer, if you don't belong to any kind of religious systems or ideological systems, you probably know that people who believe in God usually tend to say that God is something that cannot be described, or this divine source, or this divine light, is something that cannot be described. Why? Because it exists somewhere in a very high dimension. And in our dimension, in third dimension, we are limited. We can describe, we can categorize almost everything. Here we use words and ideas to describe something. But when we people who live in third dimension are trying to describe something that exists somewhere high above, somewhere like in some place that we cannot even imagine what this, like, for example, 5 or 6 dimension looks like, or 12 dimension, it can be hard for us to find words to describe it. How we, like beings of third dimension, can describe something that is, for example, in 12 dimension. So usually people like to say that God, or this primal source, this divine source, is limitless. It's something without any limitations, any borders. And they also say that God has no beginning and no end, or that this divine source always existed. And now we are going back to us. My friends, if we are in the same time like human beings, but then divine beings, what does it mean to be divine beings? It means that we come from this divine source, okay, from the God, the universe. We carry the part of this source inside us, like divine light, or this divine essence. My friends, if the God or this divine source is limitless and you cannot even describe it, it means that we as divine beings also are something that cannot be described. We are limitless. That's why I believe that our spiritual identity is actually the lack of any identity. Why? Because again, when we think about identity, for example, on this earth, in our physical reality, it's all about categories and labels, like your name, your last name, your country, your friends, your style, your appearance, for example. But I've already said that in a spiritual reality, in the spiritual world, you as a divine being that comes from very high dimension, you cannot be described, you cannot be categorized, you cannot be labeled. So in a spiritual way, you cannot be identified. There are no labels, there are no categories that you can put yourself, there are no box that you can put yourself into in the spiritual world. You are limitless, you are everything in the same time. It's like you can be anyone in any place, in any time. Isn't it an amazing thing? I mean, think about the world where people have no words to describe you. They have no labels to put onto you. They have no box to put you into. Guys, what happens when you connect these two, you combine these two identities, where one of these identities is the lack of identity? You combine these two identities together. Can you see the way you can live your life when you use both of these things? What if the very next morning, when you will wake up, you will realize that even though people know you for who you are in this physical reality, okay? You have your family, you have the place where you were born, you have your ID card, you have your driving license, you have your study degree. That is again something that helps others to recognize you, to see you as this physical vessel. But then when you want to achieve something, you set some goals for yourself, you have your dreams, or for example, you want to follow your passions and your hobbies, you know that you are a divine being, and that in this spiritual world that coexists together with our physical world, you are limitless. You are something or someone that cannot be described. Means you can achieve anything, you can be anyone in any given moment. So my friends, your spiritual identity, which is the idea that you keep in your head that you are limitless, that you can be anything and anyone in any time, in any place, in any moment, will help you to prove first yourself, but then also others, then anything is possible. Because now you know that even though there are physical limitations in this world, there are no spiritual limitations for you. Your spiritual identity will help you guys to wake up from the illusion that the only thing that exists is this 3D world, and that you can only try to build your dream reality, the reality that you want to experience from the place of being a human being and like living and being stuck in this 3D world. It will help you to break free from any limitations that, for example, now you have in your head. For example, in this moment you believe that there is something that you cannot achieve because maybe your personality don't fit to this dream. Maybe you believe that there is a version of you that you will never build, you will never experience. Why? Because you are already labeled in this 3D reality. Like, people know you again as a George, this guy with a specific style who liked animals, who liked to play chess and board games. And so when you imagine the other version of you in your head, you think like, no, people will not accept me because people already know me for this version of me. This makes you, my friend, to believe that you are really only this one version of you. Like, you fall into this trap of trying to identify you with only your 3D world identity. It's like when you are saying to yourself, I'm only a George, this guy from this place who only likes these things, who only have this style, who only can do this kind of job. My friend, what you need to do is to stop trying to identify yourself, like what is going on in your head, like, I mean, your thoughts and your perception of this world and of yourself, with something that can be limited. It's actually very hard for me to explain it, but what I mean is that next time when you will catch yourself thinking that there is only one version of you, you know, like people right now talk a lot about being authentic to yourself, but how can you be authentic to yourself if there is no single version of you? Again, there is an earthly identity, but this is only a helpful tool for others to recognize you among other 8 billion people. But when it comes to the spiritual reality, again, the one that we cannot touch, we cannot see, we cannot smell, but we can feel, and we know that there is definitely something more than our physical reality, then there isn't any single version of you. Like, literally, you can be anything, you can be everything, you can be nothing. My friend, every day you can be different version of yourself. So it makes no sense to create only one version of you in your head, because this version will be false. It will be limited, but you don't want to be limited, and you know that you are not limited in this spiritual reality. As a divine being, you are limitless. You can be different every day, even every hour. You can be the version of you that you want to be in the specific moment. Believing that you can identify yourself with only one version of you is the biggest trap. This is what makes you to feel like you are stuck in your life. Because when you move through this life knowing that, today I can be like this, tomorrow I want to be like that, and then next week I will be a totally different version of me, you know that you can achieve anything. You can become anything you want. You can make any dreams of yours come true. You will be the version of you that fits the most to a specific goal, to a specific dream. So for example, again, your whole life people knew you as a person who is into science, maybe into IT, maybe into, into some analytical stuff. But somewhere deep inside yourself, you have a dream of becoming, for example, a movie director. This is something totally different. This is a very, I would say, creative job. This is very flexible, more, energetic kind of job. So you believe that you cannot achieve this dream. You cannot become a movie director because you are into science, you have an analytical and logical mind. And this is the moment when you fall into trap of identity. Because when you realize that your spiritual identity is the lack of identity, you can be anything you want in any moment, you know that you can become someone who will be perfect for being a movie director, because you can be creative, you can be flexible, you can use your imagination, you can be full of enthusiasm and energy. Instead of movie director, you can choose any other option, like something that you think that is unreachable for you, just because who you are in this physical reality doesn't fit to what you want to achieve or to the reality that you want to build. That's why, guys, I'm here telling you right now that everything is possible for you, because you can be anything. Every second of your life, you decide who you want to be, how you want others to perceive you, how you want to move through this life, what kind of your spiritual abilities you want to use to build something, to work on some project, to work on some version of you. Again, not the one and only version of you, but the temporary version of you that you can change in any moment. So the final advice for you, my viewer, is the next time, let me repeat myself, the next time you will catch yourself thinking that you are only like this and like that, and there is a version of you that you can never achieve, you can never become, or there are dreams and goals that you will never achieve just because you don't fit to what you need to be in order to achieve these goals or dreams. Throw this thought immediately from your head and remind yourself that you can be everything. You are limitless. You have no beginning and no end. You are someone that cannot be labeled and cannot be categorized. And there are no things that you cannot achieve and no versions of you that you cannot become. I will share with you my personal experience. The version of me that I am right now is something that I thought is not possible for me to achieve 10 years ago. Back in time, I thought I will never become someone like who I am right now. But here I am, sitting here in front of the camera, recording this video for you guys. I have the life that I have, which is very beautiful and very enjoyable life. But even though I am the version of me that I thought I will never achieve or I will never become, I still remember that this isn't final version. Tomorrow I can decide to be someone else. I can build another version of me in my head, and I can become this version. Everything is possible for me because I'm not a limited being in this spiritual world, in this spiritual reality. That will be all for today. My friends, if you have any questions to this video or to what I said, to what I've mentioned in this video, please feel free to leave a comment. I will try to explain more what I meant so that you can understand fully who you are on this spiritual level. I love you all, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.